What's going on, guys? My name is Triforce Addiction. Welcome back to another Camo video. So today we are going to be discussing the Bruen. So this is the brand new LMG that was released for the 4th anniversary season, of course, season 10 for Call of Duty Mobile. So I've actually heard a lot of mixed opinions already on the Bruen LMG. We didn't really get a lot of gameplay footage other than what we received last week, and a lot of people, of course, with their initial impressions, they thought this weapon was actually going to be very overpowered. But so far, based on what I've seen and what I've experienced with this weapon, I think, well, I don't really believe it's going to be far from that, but I actually think that I guess players have been kind of over-exaggerating how good this weapon actually is. Keep in mind, guys, for me, this is kind of like a first impressions video. This is not, my final thoughts on the weapon because I've only really used it in shipments so far, at least for the most part. So once I actually get accustomed to using this weapon in other maps, I'm going to have a much different opinion. Or it might just stay the same, I don't know. But yes, the Bruen LMG, I think it's a little over-exaggerated. A lot of people think it's going to be like the new best LMG, but you actually would be kind of wrong about that. And I'm not sure if this is how the gun is designed, but there are certain things in place that make this gun a little bit more compromised than others. So you guys hear most of the time that, some weapons out there might have some good benefits and some, I guess, some cons as well. Pros and cons. Something that every, I think, weapon has in this game. You see the Outlaw, it's super fast, but it has very low damage. Or if you have, like, the Rytec, it's a much stronger type of sniper rifle, but, of course, really slow. Basically, every gun in this game has their pros and cons, upsides, downsides, certain sacrifices that you need to make if you do want to use a certain weapon. But the BRUEN MK9 is very unique in a few ways. So as you guys know, most of the recent LMGs that have been released, or at least, all the ones that have been released since like the Gunsmith update came out, they have been making a lot of different efforts in order to try to have LMGs act like, of course, LMGs, but also to act like assault rifles. This, of course, is no exception. The Bruen does have kind of like this assault rifle function as well, where you could actually put a 60 round assault rifle mag into the gun and it basically acts like an assault rifle. Mind you, there are no actual differences between, using the 100 round or, even the 60 round mag. There's no damage differences is what I mean. The gun basically has the same damage overall, but of course they have different upsides and downsides to them. But as for one of the first major downsides of this gun, and I'm not sure if this is some sort of design flaw or some sort of glitch, but the ammo reserve for the Bruen is a lot smaller than most guns. So typically, especially if you do have a 100 round mag LMG, you usually have about like maybe 200 to 400 bullets in reserves, just in case you run out of the mag. But this time around, this one really only just has one other mag. So yes, by default with the 100 bullets, if you run out of that, you only have one other mag to use and you've basically run out. Another thing worth mentioning is the fact that even with the 60 round mag, it's kind of uneven. Usually, when it comes to reserves, you usually have a few full mags of reserves that you can use once you run out from like the current mag that you have. But with this one, it is a little bit different because, yeah, like the 60 round mag has 60, just of course in the mag, but when you do check the reserve, it only goes up to 90 for some reason. So you kind of only have enough for like an extra mag and a half. And that's kind of like the reason why I somewhat believe that this might be a bug, given the fact that like usually when you have, mags in reserve, it's usually full mags, not just one mag and like half another mag. It's weird. They might, hotfix it at some point, and they do have quite a bit of hotfixing to do, especially in this season, because of course the ADS sprint out bug is still there. So a lot of guns are still slower than most, unfortunately. But yeah, even the nail gun still needs to be fixed. There's this issue where you have to get 90 kills with full attachments, but the thing is that the nail gun doesn't actually have attachments. So yeah, you could expect a lot of bug fixes in the coming days for this game. And I do wholeheartedly believe that they are going to fix the ammo reserve issue, because again, like, this can be a bug, or maybe it can't. Maybe that's how the gun is designed, but I'm not really too sure. But because of this issue, I did end up having to resort to using at least a 200 round mag for the majority of the diamond grind. However, this does lead to an upside of, just overall movement with the gun. So for most part, Most of the LMGs are pretty slow, even if you have like an assault rifle form of a gun, you know, with like the 30 round mag or like the 40 round mag M4 LMG or something like that, or even like the double stack mag for the Holger. They usually have some, like, they still have some slowness to it, like where it's still slower than most assault rifles. It just makes it slightly faster. Aside from the Bruen, this one actually is pretty fast, and even if you do have like a 100 or a 200 round mag, it's still going to be pretty fast, faster than it should be. Even if you put like one of the heavier barrels and a monolithic suppressor alongside no stock, you're still going to have some pretty above average speed for an LMG. That's why, aside from the low reserves that you do get with this gun, I decided throughout the majority of this grind, like I said, to run a 200 round mag, which kind of leads to another con that I do need to discuss with this weapon, is the reload time. So given that this gun does shoot pretty fast, I would say almost faster than most LMGs at this point, you do run out of ammo pretty quick, even if you do have a 100 round mag. And the thing is that it takes about 8.4 seconds, I believe, to do a complete empty reload, and about 7 seconds for just a basic reload. So yes, the reload speed for this gun is extremely slow unless you have the 60 round mag. But again, the ammo reserves are pretty low, so you're probably going to end up running out of ammo, especially if you're in shipment trying to get those 10 kills. It won't really be enough to last you the entire match unless you maybe get a streak that could just end the game really quickly. But yeah, that's one of the bigger, I guess, downsides of this gun. It's like the reload speed is extremely slow. And I'm more convinced to believing that that is by design, given how, you know, versatile this weapon actually is with movement and everything. So with the attachments, I do want to discuss that for a bit. Of course, this is, like many other weapons that have been released in the past, this is a bullet speed related weapon, and it does start off with some pretty good amount of bullet speed. I think it starts off at 1,000 meters per second. So like, I think the max you could end up getting is like 1,300 meters per second. So yeah, and that's, I think that's if you use like the heaviest barrel in the game. But you know, even the, I guess the midway barrel, I don't know what it's called. I think it's called the Horizon barrel, that just slightly increases the range. It also increases the bullet speed by like 25%, so you do still get a pretty good increase. Of course, they also do have the light barrel as well, but that one actually decreases your bullet speed by 17%, so you're gonna have about like maybe a little over 850 meters per second of bullet speed, which is still pretty good, especially for an LMG. But that's if you want like even more fast movement than this gun already provides. In cases where you're in shipment, I would recommend using that barrel, but you know, in other situations, like in just normal matches when you're done grinding it out and you're just using it for hardpoint or whatever the case may be, I do recommend using the heavier barrels because they do provide that better benefit. As for the damage, it is pretty average. The only 3-shot potential that it does actually have is maybe through just the headshots, but that's basically it. The range isn't that far. It doesn't extend too far to the point where it's like a 4-shot across like 30 meters. It actually starts off like pretty good, but then like it just falls off pretty quickly, like after 15 meters. And from there, it's just a pure 5-shot kill. But fortunately, like I said, this weapon is extremely fast, so you can use like the heaviest barrel with monolithic suppressor, no stock, or like with a 200 round mag or 60, whatever you choose. And you won't really lose too much speed, but you'll get a massive range increase since the heaviest barrel actually does increase your range by 45%. And if you add in the monolithic suppressor, it goes up to 70%. I'm not sure if this gun has long shot, but I mean, if you want to add that in too, that would be like 80%. So it's going to be a massive amount of a range increase if you want to. I only mentioned the long shot perk because I know the Holger does have it, so I'm assuming that maybe this one would have it too. I'm not really that sure. But again, the PKM was also for Modern Warfare, so I don't really think that one actually has it, but who knows. As for all the other attachments, they're pretty standard. They have no stock, all that stuff. The grips are more or less the same. There's nothing really different about any of the other attachments. The only difference I would say is that, you know, they're named differently. You know, they're kind of just based on the Modern Warfare names, which is something that I do like. But yeah, nothing really crazy about like the attachments or anything like that. There's nothing really unique to them. So before we end off this video, I do also want to talk about the camo challenges. So the camo challenges aren't hard by any means. I would say the hardest one is headshots. I do recommend, I mean, I seriously recommend using a red dot sight for the headshots, because for some reason the iron sight just not, like, it doesn't do it for me, at least when it comes to headshots. Other than that, the iron sight's pretty good for just normal kills. I would also say, like, maybe the second hardest challenge is probably the hipfires. I mean, this gun's hipfire accuracy is kind of atrocious, and I've tried putting everything on, like anything on possible to increase the hipfire accuracy, and it barely does anything. Trust me, that's probably going to be the harder part, so yeah, be careful with that one. As for everything else, that would just come out naturally. It's just going to happen. I mean, if you just go to high rise, you get long shots like it's like there's no tomorrow. It's like, yeah, LMGs are typically very forgiving when it comes to challenges. Even with long shots, I think you only need like 45, and then you need like 50 headshots. So again, very forgiving. So the gameplay that you're seeing right now, obviously, is me using platinum camo. It's one of those things where you kind of have to get both weapons of the season gold in order to get the Damascus camo. So unfortunately, since the nail gun is still bugged where I can't finish the all attachment challenges, given that this gun doesn't even have any attachments, I don't really have Damascus right now, but once I do finish that, I will have it. So I was kind of hoping that I could work on both guns throughout this entire grind, but you know, I guess it just, things don't work out at times. So I'm just stuck having to do like another 80 matches to finish off the nail gun. So here's the main class setup that I did use for, I guess, the majority of the grind, which is no stock, the XRK Horizon 23.0 inch barrel, as well as the disable barrel, the disable perk, as well as the OWC laser tactical, and the 200 round belt. So yes, I know it's kind of like a weird build. You may not think it might work, but trust me, it's gonna save your life a lot, especially since you don't have to reload too often if you do have this type of ammo capacity. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you leave a like, make sure to subscribe for some more COD mobile content. I'll see you guys next time.